Criminal court system then. So we start off at the magistrates court this time, and all criminal cases will start here, and they hear small cases, so usually it's less than £5,000 or less than 6 months in prison. Then if it's a bigger case, it would get passed on to the Crown Court, and this is where you can have trial by jury. Then we're on to the High Court, so the Queen's Bench Division again, that can do criminal and civil. Then we're on to the Court of Appeal. So at this point, it gets pretty similar to the civil courts. And so then we've got the Supreme Court. And so I guess the difference is at the bottom there. So criminal is Magistrates Court and Crown Court. Civil is the County Court mainly. So that's it's good to learn the court structure, be able to draw them out in the order that you find them, and then be able to do both. So maybe learning the differences is quite handy. So in terms of the courts, the Supreme Court says there it was established by the Constitutional Reform Act in 2005. It came into effect in 2009. It replaced the House of Lords as the judicial function, so basically deciding how the laws would apply. So try to remove that conflict of interest. And the final Court of Appeal in the UK. So you'll see you can sometimes appeal to a European Court of Human Rights, but only in specific circumstances. So generally it's the final Court of Appeal in the UK. Court of Appeal, so they hear appeals from the High Court, County Court, and some tribunals. So the tribunals we'll cover in this course will be employment tribunals generally, so that's the one we have to worry about. Criminal Division hears appeals from the Crown Court, and appeals go to the Supreme Court. So if you're not happy with the Court of Appeal decision, you go to the Supreme Court. The High Courts, so case of first instance for multi-track cases, they're complicated or very high value civil cases, and it hears appeals from the courts of first instance. So if you've been heard in the County Court or you've been heard in the Magistrates or Crown Court, you would appeal to the High Court. Appeals can be made to the Court of Appeal or rarely to Supreme Court, as in you jump over the Court of Appeal, you leapfrog it, and we talked about when that would happen. County Court, so court of first instance for civil cases, small and fast track. Kinds of things you'd find in there would be contract and tort law, company law and family law. Crown Court, so court of first instance for indictable offences, they're called serious offences that require a jury. Here's appeals from the Magistrates Court. And then we've got court of first instance of magistrates for summary. So I remember this as summary is begins with an S, so small offences, and first hearing of committal for indictable or serious offences. What that means is if you have committed a serious criminal offence, you're going to get tried in the Crown Court, but you still have to appear in the magistrates. And normally what they do is they confirm who you are, and they confirm that what the charges are, and you understand the charges. So there was a case of where somebody had actually thrown a hand grenade and shot at two police officers. So very, very serious criminal offence there. And they turned up at the Magistrates Court because they had to confirm the identity and the charges. Then they were tried in the Crown Court. And that was in Manchester that happened, but they had to be tried in the Crown Court in Preston because of the security risk of them. I think they were part of a gang, so they thought they might break them out. But they came to the Crown Court in Preston. In terms of distinction between summary and indictable, it's that £5,000 limit and 6 months in prison. So if it's more than £5,000, we'll say it's indictable. If it's more than 6 months, we'll call it indictable. And then court of first instance for civil cases, children, so family matters, and licensing. If you want to open up a pub, you would go to the Magistrates Court. So other courts tribunals we have. So you've got the European Court of Human Rights. So you can see their final court of appeal for human rights matters. So you can go there specifically as a human rights issue. If it's a point of UK law, then it's the Supreme Court. You must exhaust the English court system first, so you can't jump to European Court. There's a leapfrog procedure for this one. You've got the Privy Council. So final source of appeal for some Commonwealth countries and UK overseas territories. So the Privy Council is made up of the King now and cross-party MPs. So generally like the Prime Minister, would be part of the Privy Council, and then the opposition leader would be part of the Privy Council, and then other MPs from across it. So it's supposed to be a non-political council seen by the king. So they would do overseas territories, Commonwealth issues. They tend to do some university stuff as well, but other places where you might go to for a decision. And then tribunals. So the main one for us is employment tribunal. As it says there, alternative to the court system. So it's supposed to be much cheaper. You don't need to go with a lawyer. You don't need to pay for the judge and things like that. As I said, they're primarily used for employment disputes. So cheaper and quicker is the argument for tribunals. Try and relieve some of the work for the courts because they're busy. Okay, so let's finish off with a question. So let's have a look. Which one of these courts does not have any criminal jurisdiction? So is it A, the Magistrates Court, B, the High Court, C, the Crown Court, or D, the County Court? So which one does not have criminal jurisdiction? Pause. You can always pause the presentation and pick your answer. The answer we're looking for is D. So Magistrates Court, we saw, is part of both systems, civil and criminal. High Court has civil and criminal areas, the Queen's Bench Division specifically. Crown Court is purely criminal, and then County Court is purely civil. So the answer is D. So I think this is a great example of an exam standard question on the court structure. That's the sort of thing that they would want you to know. So County Court only hears civil cases relating mainly to contract, tort, land, and insolvency disputes. Let's have a look at another one. So, which of the following statements is correct? So, the primary purpose of civil law is to punish offenders by imposing a custodial sentence or fine. The main aim of criminal law is to compensate the wrong party. Once an action has been brought under criminal law, it cannot then be tried under civil law. Or the primary aim of the criminal law is to regulate behaviour within society by using the threat of punishment as a deterrent. So, we're looking for the correct answer here. So again, you might want to pause, have a read of these, make sure you've picked an answer. Okay, so the answer we're looking for again is D. So the aim of civil law is to compensate the wronged party. So that's civil rather than criminal. Criminal is to punish. So the aim of criminal law is to punish people, to control behaviour in society. Civil law, we try to compensate the wrong party. So criminal law is not compensation, it's punishment. And then once an action has been brought under criminal law, it cannot then be tried under civil law. Well, we saw in the previous lecture that no, you can have one action leading to both under criminal law and civil law. So if drink driving injure a pedestrian, I can be prosecuted for drink driving, and I could be sued for negligence as well. So the correct one is D. The primary aim of criminal is to regulate people's behaviour. So we don't do things because we may be caught and punished. All right, thank you very much for listening to the lecture. See you on the next one.